It was a frustrating Monday night, but a really my lift flew us moment call to hear his voice Monday night. Well, it was actually Tuesday morning because it was almost 1 o'clock, and I got to see him on Tuesday, yesterday, and then he's staying with me for the short term, so went right into some of the signals, and he was about 95%, and he knows kind of the original to the second iteration to the third and on down. So his knowledge of the game is pretty extensive. Obviously looks like he's drinking the elixir from the fountain of youth. As I watched some of his clips, we went back and watched some old 2014 stuff when he was a rookie, and I lovingly call him Fat Tay because he was over 220. Then he got real serious about his diet and his health and got down to under 210, and speed came back and became the dynamic player that he is today. So it's been a strange 24 hours, but really fun to see my friend.
Garrett, what was it like? I assume you guys rode in together. Was it kind of surreal? You're like, Davante, you're here, and like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it's very surreal. He sat next to me in the team meeting today, and I turned to him and just said, "Man, how crazy is this?" Something that when we get together in the off seasons, we joke about, but it never seemed like a possibility or going to happen. So it's good to be with him. He has a presence about him that's palpable when he steps onto the walkthrough field, the practice field, or in a meeting. Obviously, he brings clout and accolades from somebody who's been at the zenith of this profession. So really fun to have him. But from a friend level, like just to be able to catch up and talk to him about his kids and wife and Vegas and all the things he's been through. Because last main time that I saw him was at the Derby. I saw him in Tahoe, but it was brief. But at the Derby every year we get to hang out and catch up, but it's been a while.
How do you think he can help solve the issues you guys have been having as an offense?
Well, I mean, he can do a lot of different things. He can play all three positions, play the on-the-ball receiver, the off-the-ball receiver, the slot. Like I said, he's got a high football IQ. And now, I think it's going to help G. G's faced a lot of double teams over the course of the first 6 weeks. Now you have to kind of pick your poison, double them both. All those guys can move in and out of the slot, can play on the ball. Tay's, obviously been a monster in the red zone over the years. A lot of on-schedule and off-schedule touchdowns. But I think he can, help teach the young guys who are willing and eager to listen and learn, because he's a master of route running and releases and always working on his craft. And he look good.
Does it feel like 2 or 3 years that you guys have played together, and like you expect to just click right away because of all that time you spent?
I expect to be on the same page. I'm hoping that we click. He's been out for a few weeks with an injury, and we haven't played together since 2021. So, but we have a lot of memories to call upon. He has an incredible recall. We were just talking, reminiscing over the 8 years we played together about certain plays. I mean, we could literally watch a highlight clip, and both of us not only know the game, but the play and the situation and the thoughts that were behind it, and maybe a conversation that happened. So that's a gift. We got the years of good plays to recall in the moment, but we got to get him up to speed on the verbiage and some of the new signals and new route concepts that we run.
So you're driving home at 1 o'clock in the morning. You get a call from him.
I got a call at like 12:15 from him. I didn't answer.
Okay.
I wasn't in the mood.
So it was that when you found out that the trade was happening, you must have known that these talks were going on for a week or so.
I knew that there was conversations, but I knew there were other teams involved. So I literally found out at close to 1 o'clock in the morning when he said he was getting on a plane, and I was just kind of, my heart dropped, and I was like, to where? And he said New York. I was like, really? I knew there was interest, but I knew that there was a lot of other things in play, and that other teams that were interested as well.
When he became available, were you hopeful that the Jets would go and get him?
Yeah, of course. But I knew there was going to be, a lot of other teams interested. I think it came down to where he wanted to be, and this was at the top of his list.
Aaron, there's obviously a lot of really good players here now, and there's only one ball. So how do you make sure that guys don't take a back seat who are used to being the driver?
Which guys are you talking about?
Garrett, Reese, the guys who are used to being your number one receiver and your number 1A playmaker.
So what are they worried about?
Davante Adams gets a share of those balls, right?
Yeah, but it's about winning. Those guys are going to get theirs. The most important thing is winning, though. I throw it to the open guy. Guys, obviously they had nice nights the other night. Bringing Davante in, obviously, he's if he's healthy and out there, he's going to get opportunities. But the way the defense plays dictates where the ball goes. And now when you put out, a Tay and a G and Allen or Mike or 82, and teams want to play too high, you got to run the ball. So I think Brees should be real happy. I think the Lions should be real happy, and I think G should be real happy.
Well, you've played with good players before, Aaron, but can you ever recall playing with this much talent at one point in time, where you have this many guys? You played with, whether it was Jordy, whether it was Ted. Now it seems like everybody's on the field together.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been kind of this gold standard, which is this picture from Sports Illustrated from 2011, and the guys in the picture, it was Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, James Jones, Randall Cobb was our fifth as a rookie, Jermichael Finley. That was, a pretty incredible group of skilled players, with Donald's pedigree and how many years he went over 1,000, and Greg Jennings and what he did in Green Bay, and Jordy Nelson and what he accomplished, and Randall Cobb being like a rookie and our fifth receiver, and James Jones, who had such a prolific career for us, and Jermichael, who arguably the best tight end that we had during our time. That was always kind of held up as a standard. This is, a really nice skill set as well.
When you were having those conversations too with Adams, I mean, those conversations about more than just this year? So I think he restructured his contract. So is this something where we know you've talked about giving the Jets more than just this season? Is that the same with Davante?
Yeah, I mean, Davante just had a kid 2 months ago, so to move his family across the country for a few months, I don't think is high on his priority list.
Aaron, can you talk about the juxtaposition of the feelings
Good
at 12:15 when you didn't want to answer the call, then to the 1 o'clock when he tells you he's on the plane to New York?
Yeah, it's a low, and then a little higher from there. I'm a competitor, and I want to win. There's no moral victories. There's a W and there's an L, and I was frustrated. Now I love Davante. He's a real dear friend of mine, so that was a special call, but I was still pissed.
Did you when he became available, did you talk to Joe Douglas about him? Did you lobby in any sense?
I mean, I didn't really need to. Like, there had been conversations, for a long time. Like, Joe and I have a real flowing, constant conversation, and I think he knew if Tay was available, I'd obviously love to have him. Didn't need to be any convincing, though, because Joe loved Davante as well. So did SJ, so did Todd, so did Hack. So I didn't have to do any extra recruiting or nudging or anything. Joe knows what he's doing. He doesn't need my input, but if he had needed any extra input, obviously I would have told him what kind of guy that Davante is. Obviously his playmaking ability and his career stands for itself, but the locker room presence that he is what separates him and makes him a special player.